Hello, I'm Deyan Georgiev from 4th A, and I'll talk for my favorite pop rock group, the Beatles. The Beatles were an English rock band started in Liverpool, England in 1960. In my opinion, they were and still are one of the most successful and influential bands in the history of music. The members of the band were John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, which three of them played the guitar. There were John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison. Only Ringo Starr played the drums. Starting in 1957, John Lennon and several of his friends played in a British band called the Quarrymen. Sir Paul McCartney joined the group in 1957 and George Harrison in the early 1958. Over the next few years, the members of the band changed, and by 1960, the band was called the Beatles. In 1963, their song Please Please Me reached the #1 position on the British charts, and after that event, they became so popular that they went to the United States in 1964. They were attacked by screaming fans everywhere they went around the world. The effect they had on their fans was known as Beatles mania. Manager and studio. The manager. Brian Epstein was their manager, and the bad thing about him is that he died very young. George Martin produced all of their albums and singles, except for the album Let It Be, which was produced by the famous 1960s producer Phil Spector. Almost all their music was recorded at Abbey Road Studios. Abbey Road Studios is the most famous recording studio in the world and a global music icon. Abbey Road is of course synonymous with the legendary work of the Beatles. They recorded almost all of their songs in this studio, 190 of their 210 songs. An interesting fact is that John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote almost all of their songs. The band was still very popular all over the world after they broke up. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, they are the highest-selling recording artists ever. They have sold more than 1 billion records, including albums and singles. The Beatles made 13 albums and 26 singles together. They made 2 movies, A Hard Day's Night and Help, where they appeared as actors. There was also one cartoon movie called The Yellow Submarine, which was based on their song The Yellow Submarine. And here are some of the Beatles' hobbies. John Lennon wrote short stories, poems, sketches, and painted. George Harrison enjoyed designing guitars. Paul McCartney wrote a bit of poetry and has done a children's book. Richard Starkey enjoys photography and time with his family, and acting also. And now I'll tell you why I made this presentation about the Beatles. I and my dad went to Liverpool some time ago, and there we visited the Beatles Museum. My experience there was amazing. We saw many things from their history, but that was not the main reason why we went there. We went there to support and see how our favorite football team Liverpool is playing in a real match. The match ended 2-0 for our team. Thank you for your attention.